Great news. The recession is canceled. Yes, folks, we got some very interesting and I would argue contradictory data this morning about the job market. We're going to go through all of that. We're going to talk about an amazing economist from Bloomberg that I just found, Anna Wong. We're going to talk about some Fed speak, and we're going to look at all types of earnings that have occurred in the last 24 hours. But let's get into the job market. So this morning, we got the delayed Bureau of Economics data, BLS, report about January jobs. Now, let's rewind the clock and remember what the JOLTS report said and ADP said. Because typically speaking, we get all three reports in the same week. The government shutdown caused this report to be delayed till Wednesday. So again, this is all from memory. It won't be accurate, but it will be close. The JOLTS report was a significant miss. If memory serves, we lost about 500,000 job openings to the downside. ADP report was also about half of expectations. And going into the BLS report, it was expected to show a positive 55,000 job creation, and the unemployment rate was expected to stay flat at 4.4%. So what happened? Well, let's just say the experts were wrong again. Or maybe they weren't. More on that in a minute. So what did the report say this morning? It came in at a barn-burning 130,000. Yes, folks, jobs created in January were 130,000, more than double the expectation of 55,000. And probably even more importantly, yes, I did or said it, more importantly, the unemployment rate fell. Yes, folks, the unemployment rate fell from 4.4 to 4.3%. Now, that is the glass half full. Now let's talk about the other side of the coin. Because again, we live in a very interesting headline-driven world where this 130,000 print will be talked about ad nauseum today. And then next month, when we get revisions, we won't talk about it again. That's just the wonky world that we live in today. But what else is behind this 130,000 great number? 60% of the job gains were in healthcare. Yes, once again, healthcare is dominating job creation. Now let's get back to what I call the crazy world of government data. Something else we got this morning were job revisions for last year. Yes, last year, folks, with a simple stroke of the proverbial pen, we erased, we deleted, we removed 862,000 jobs. So what does that mean? Well, I didn't even do this math. Let's just do the math together. 862,000 divided by 12. That means we lost almost 72,000 jobs a month. They just disappeared. They're gone. Whoosh, into the ether. More importantly, we went from an environment where we were averaging 50,000, I think technically 49,000 jobs a month in 2025 to 15. Yes, folks, the job market in 2025 sucked. All of you, including myself, have been talking about the broken labor market. It just didn't match the government data. And there you have it. 862,000 jobs that never existed were simply erased from the public data. And now we can all admit that 2025 sucked. So put this all together. I think the first thing you and I need to realize is these January numbers on the surface are good. But let's not get it twisted. We're going to wait for the revisions. We're going to wait a couple of months until we believe this junk, this garbage that the government data is reporting. But that said, the market has already moved. In seconds, the odds of a June rate cut collapsed. The odds of a June rate cut as of yesterday were roughly 50%. They're now 30% and seemingly falling faster. So this means, as of this morning, the odds of another rate cut before Jerome Powell leaves office are essentially zero. So we are going to continue the Fed pause or the Fed hold, whatever you want to call it. Now, what could change that? Well, a couple of things. If we started seeing weekly unemployment claims, which we get every Thursday and we talk about every Thursday, if those start to spike and exceed 300, specifically 325,000, that could be a problem. Now, let's be clear. We've been nowhere close to that over the last 18 months, but that could cause it. Another thing that could cause it is Friday, we will get the long delayed CPI reading. CPI could collapse. Now, again, it's expected to collapse from 2.7 to 2.5. It could fall farther, given the error in shelter. But again, the odds of a rate cut before Jerome Powell leaving as of this morning are essentially zero. Zero. All right, let's get into a wonderful economist that I found yesterday. I've been reading her work for a while, but I actually like people who make calls early. And I want to give a shout out to Anna Wong. She's an economist at Bloomberg. And the reason I liked Anna is because she made a call yesterday about today's numbers. And frankly, that takes balls. So this is what she said yesterday about today. 1, we expect job growth in 24 and 25 to be revised down by potentially 1 million. She was close, 862,000. So kudos to her. Adjustments will show that the labor market stalled and cooled starting way back in 2024. I think she's right. She expects zero job growth in January. Ooh, Anna got that one wrong. We got 100. Well, again, I don't know if you got it wrong. Well, you got it wrong today. We'll see if it's revised lower later. But it did come in at 130,000. And again, this is why I like people who publicly make calls, because you gotta own it. You gotta eat it if you are wrong, and it does happen. And then she's making a call about Friday, which again, I respect. I like people who make calls and will stand on it when the data comes in. She said that CPI is going to be cooler than expected on Friday. So again, the expectations for Friday are 2.5. So we will see how Anna did. Something else, folks, we're going to have to start to pay attention to is China is making a lot of noise about U.S. Treasuries. This is potentially very important. Right now, it's saber rattling, it's noise, it's nonsense, but it could become something. What are they doing? Well, they're doing two things. First, China's leadership is urging banks to limit purchases of U.S. Treasuries. And second, and I would argue more importantly, urges other banks to sell U.S. Treasuries. Folks, we already know that there is a sell America trade going. China jumps on the bandwagon and pushes this. If China really is in the works of creating a gold-backed currency, they will do everything they can to hurt us, including selling treasuries. So again, something to look at going forward. Let's talk about some earnings. We did get a bunch of them that I noted yesterday. We got Coca-Cola, missed on revenue, beat on earnings. Looks like demand in the Americas is soft. And when you go back and you think about Pepsi and Frito-Lay and Doritos being deflationary, do you guys know, I believe it was as of January 1st, it might have been February 1st, SNAP benefits can't buy snacks and soda. I wonder if there was so much buying of soda, Coke, Pepsi, Doritos, from SNAP participants, that simply turning junk food off is hurting corporate earnings. That is wild to think about. I don't know if it's true, but I've been told by multiple sources that the number one thing bought by folks on SNAP is soda. That's not good. Soda's bad for you. Don't do that. Robinhood Missed on Revenue reported that crypto revenue was down 38% year on year, while expenses were up 38% year on year. So that's not a good combination. Marriott, again, what's going on with travel and leisure? Had a very strong Q4 for leisure demand, but corporate travel weakening. Interesting. Race, or Ferrari, as I know them, again, talk about the ultimate luxury brand, beat top line, beat bottom line, and is clearly the luxury car brand. Even when folks like Ford and GM are struggling, those top 1% of the 1% are still buying their Ferraris. Lyft had some horrible numbers, missed on revenue, did announce $1 billion stock buyback, but had weak rider numbers. What is going on with riders of Lyft and Uber? Interesting. Datadog beat top line and bottom line. What's interesting about Datadog is all of these SaaS companies been taking it on the chin, not Datadog. Datadog essentially has a go-to-market strategy that is making AI work for them, while others are struggling and having their lunch eaten. Zillow, shout out Zillow, beat top line and bottom line. Talked about for sale revenue being up to $475 million, and rent revenue. I didn't even know this was such a big part of their business. I thought it was just on the side. $168 million from rental listings. Wild. I could not imagine that. So let's do some Fed speak and we will wrap this up. We got Fed President Hammack. Too soon to say what the impact of AI will be on the economy? I think that's fair. I think it's fair. I think we can all guess and speculate. It will certainly have an effect, but to say when and where and how much, I think that's probably fair. Hammack also said the U.S. government is on an unsustainable fiscal path. Yes, folks, Congress has got to get religion. They got to cut spending. Regulators don't have great insight into fast-growing private credit. This is a area of the market that is festering. Is it big enough to be a black swan to take it all down? We are seeing private credit in the commercial space really take it on the chin. So we will see what is happening there. And with that, folks, let's congratulate. I think we had one person join school yesterday. Yes, Jeff. Jeff, thank you very much for joining school. Make sure you introduce yourself. And folks, I don't know what you're sleeping on. I have put together the best agenda for our ORaaT event this weekend. I've also, instead of selling it for $99, I'm giving you access to it for $20. All you got to do is join school right there on the screen. You could watch it live Saturday and Sunday, or you could take a month to watch it because I will be posting those videos only in school. I only want my school family to benefit from this amazing jam-packed agenda. So get yourself in there. Also note that a lot of people are using PowerPoints this time, and I will be loading those PowerPoints into school as well. I will ask for a favor. Let's give me a week to do that turnaround. Knowing me, I will do it sooner, but I'm going to ask for a week to get those done because I want you to see the PowerPoints as well. So again, join school, get in there. It's 67 pennies a day. And frankly, it's not only about our Vegas event. It's about being around 550 wealth builders. It's not about me. It's not even about the millionaires that show up. It's about 550 Americans going the same direction, being in your tribe and your family and accountability groups and active forums and all of that. Get your butt in there, change your life, do the work. And if you're coming to Vegas, I'll see you soon. Later.